Hey, all. Let's talk manifesting. So, a lot of people think manifesting is something so frou-frou la that you're just like sitting at the side of your pool, popping bonbons, going, I am manifesting my life right now. Well, the reality is, it takes a lot of balance to manifest well. We know when to work and we know when to allow. That's really the art of manifesting. But there are so many other pieces to it. It is saying, I, first of all, am going to get very clear on what it is that I want to manifest or bring into my life. Once I have that clarity inside of myself, then I have to ask myself, do I believe that this can actually happen? So let's talk about something called the double slit experiment. This is a quantum physics or quantum mechanics experiment, and it's actually considered the central mystery of quantum mechanics. What scientists did is they took this board and they cut two little rectangles in it, right? They shone white light through these double slits. And what happened is what they expected to have happen. It created a wave interference pattern because that's how light behaves, or at least how white light behaves. And that's kind of like if you dropped two pebbles in a pool of water and the waves or the wave patterns would interfere with each other. It's the same thing on this board. And they said, okay, so now that's light. But we're going to do this with particles. So let's take particles of sand and we're going to tip that board 90 degrees. And we're going to drop particles of sand through these two slits. And they got exactly what they expected, two piles of sand. Okay. They said, no, we are particles as human beings. We're not light, certainly not. We are going to behave in the same manner as that predictable pieces of sand or particles of sand. So they tipped the board back up with these double slits. And this time on the back, they actually put a photosensitive screen. So when they shot atoms through these double slits, it would indicate a mark on the backboard. Now, scientists looked at this and they said, okay, we can expect two slits. But when they just let the gun go and they came back and looked at it, it had a wave pattern. They're like, what? What is going on here? How can it create a wave pattern? These are individual atoms we are shooting through a gun. How can it possibly create this wave pattern? I mean, are they talking to each other? Is there a general of the atoms and they have a megaphone going, you go over there, now you go here. Oh, we almost have the pattern. How is that possible? It's like individual particles, isn't it? And they said, okay, here's what we're going to do. We are going to tape one of those shut, one of the slits, and we're going to shoot everything through the gun. And everyone's watching and they're expecting one slit of light on the back. And guess what? They got one slit of light. And they're like, ha, as we expected. And then they said, okay, let's leave the gun again. We'll open up the second slit. And this time we're going to put a little detector, a little camera up. And we're all going to go in the back room. Nobody tell the atoms that we're watching, but we're going to watch and we're going to count how many of those atoms go through the top slit. And we're going to assume that the rest of them went through the bottom. They were measuring and observing that top slit. When it got done, they had two slits on the back board. You're like, what? Where's the wave pattern? And they said, so, okay, here's what we're going to do. We are going to put that detector up again, but nobody tell the atoms we're not going to watch. And nobody watched. Nobody observed. They left the atom gun going, one atom at a time, going through the slits, and they all left. And they came back and they looked and they had a wave pattern. But it wasn't just a wave pattern. They had particles on the side of the board and they had particles on the back of the board. And they were very confused. And they said, this is actually what Einstein called spooky action at a distance because he didn't know how to explain it. Well, I can make some little jumps or some leaps that scientists really can't because they're more bound. But I can look at this and I can say, okay, and here's what they do know. They said, we know that the role of the observer is clearly essential in this. And what I can say is that clearly they're communicating together. And clearly, what you have as far as your expectations of something functioning by the observer is going to shape and form how it comes out, that you're actually influencing the outcome. So if we are made of nothing but atoms, and this world is made of nothing but atoms, and everything in existence is, and we're all just able to communicate to each other, isn't what we want to manifest actually being communicated to everything outside of you? Think about it. So here's the other things that I know about manifesting. Your subconscious and your conscious decision makes a difference. If you make a great vision board and you know what you want, and you're like, I want to manifest this, and you put it out into the world, and you're like, universe, conspire with me to create this. God, conspire with me to create this. And you're really happy about it. But then subconsciously inside of you, you don't believe you're worth it, it's not going to manifest. Or let's say you believe you're worth it and you put it out there into the world, and then all of a sudden you start coming up with all the reasons in your mind why it can't possibly happen. Well, the economy is like this, and this isn't going to be possible, and certainly can't bring that partner to me because they're not even existing. I'm way, blah 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 blah. Whatever it is that we are believing consciously and subconsciously is what is manifesting in our world. So I've done my inner work. I have worked with my inner child to make sure that inside of me, I know I'm worth it. And I know what physics is saying. We're all communicating. All of our little photons, our biophotons, our electrons, our protons, our neutrons, we're communicating together. And we are conspiring together to bring miracles. So when it comes to manifesting, my belief is this: I want to be that random little atom on the side of the board, or I want to be the one that quantum tunneled through to the back. I'm not going to do what's expected. I'm not going to say that I have to follow the rules of any economy or what I think or perceive is available. I'm going to create miracles. My saying is this: I don't believe in miracles. I expect them, and I always get them, and I always do. So make a decision, people, about what you want to manifest and realize that your beliefs, conscious and subconscious, are creating them. Have fun with this.